So the last time we had a 3-0 series lead, blew game 4, said, don't worry about it. We'll win in 5. And then you see what happened with Edmonton. The fact that we didn't learn the lesson from last year, I'm disgusted.
The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Huh? Come on, we can do better than that. That's better. Game 4, Panthers, Canes. Exactly. That should just be the intro. So, no Reinhardt. No problem. Boquist is up there. He scored a goal. We're good to go. No Mikula. No problem. Who do we have in Mikula's place? Dmitry Kulikov, who is only the guy that saved a goal and started the rush on Sam Reinhart's Stanley Cup winning goal last year. We're good to go. Balinskis draws in on the bottom pair. I got no issue there. And then Greer just couldn't quite do it tonight. You got Sturm is going to be on the wing. And the way that Maurice described it is that those 3 guys are drawing in because they would probably play a better game than the injured players. Meaning, if it was game 7 or something like that, those guys could probably go, but it's a lot smarter. This is what we've done. This is what Bill Zito has done, I should say, in the sense that we have backups for our backups for our backups, where nobody needs to go out there hurt and maybe hurt the team and not be ready to play or further injure themselves right before a possible Stanley Cup Finals appearance. So I'm not even a little bit. I'm happy for those guys to get on the ice. I'm sure all the players are there in their uniforms and their skates to go out there and take a picture with the trophy again, should that happen. Meanwhile, Carolina is going back with Anderson, which is probably a smart deal. Kochetkov played a really good first 2 periods, and then not that the third period the other night was his fault. Now, what are we going to see from Carolina tonight? To be honest with you, I don't know. And this is not to disparage the Canes, but you don't lose that many Eastern Conference Finals games in a row without there being some kind of a functional issue when it comes time to at least avoid elimination. So, most likely what we'll see Carolina do is come out and play with as much energy and passion as they possibly can. But should Florida get a goal, 2 goals like we've been getting, should we get like a 2-0 lead here, just don't know how much heart Carolina's going to have left. But I could be sitting here at the end of Game 4 going, well, I guess we'll win it in 5. There's no guarantees here. This is not over yet. That said, I want another one of these. We're 1 game away from our 3rd straight Stanley Cup Finals appearance in a row. I just cannot functionally believe that. But then again, we waited decades for this around here. So nobody's ever due for 3 straight Cup appearances, but we'll take it either way. All right, Florida, show us that you learned the lesson from last year against Edmonton. That's all I care about tonight. Show us that you learned the lesson last year. Now, if somehow we lose a 2-1 game, hard fought, good job, Carolina. I guess we'll get it next game. But I don't want to see any lapses like we did against Game 6. I don't want to see any lapses like we did Game 4, 5, and 6 last year against Edmonton. You know the deal. All right, guys. Let's do it. All right, so today I want to talk to you about the sponsor of this video that you are watching, Southern New Hampshire University. Now, if you have considered a possible career in sports management, or you're just kind of at that point where you're thinking about what your first career might be, Southern New Hampshire University has you covered with their sports management degree program. Now, SNHU is an accredited and fully online school allowing you to complete your degree when it's convenient for you. Not only does SNHU have 6 flexible 8-week terms per year, but you can also tap into their network of graduates already working in sports-related organizations. Financial aid is available, and you may be able to transfer up to 90 credits towards an undergraduate degree. Best part, SNHU is nonprofit, which allows them to be radically affordable with one of the lowest tuition rates in the nation. As an added benefit, SNHU courses are taught by faculty with real-life experience. So you're going to get to connect with people who already are in the industry. And once you graduate, SNHU will be there to help you when you start searching for your first job. Now, as every sports fan knows, almost all of the major sports leagues have expansion in mind. Simple math tells us that this will lead to more jobs in the sports management industry. It's been suggested that jobs in sports management could increase by almost 10% in the coming years. A degree from SNHU positions you to be able to take advantage of that trend and could put you at the front of the line when these new positions open up. The innovation that combines online flexibility and incredibly affordable tuition make SNHU the perfect choice to begin your career in sports management today. Now, to learn more about Southern New Hampshire University and how you can get started in their sports management degree program, simply click the link that's in the description of this video or go to snhu.edu/fluffy. You have no idea how many times it took me to get that line right. Thanks to SNHU for sponsoring this video, and thank you for clicking on the link, because not only does that help support the channel, but it gives you the opportunity to learn how you can become part of the fast-growing industry of sports management. All right, so no score after one. Carolina with the better play in that period, not by a ton. Florida looks a little tentative. We're trying a little bit too much for the perfect shot, not really making perfectly clean, crisp passes. Just a little bit of nerves. No big. You would think the champs wouldn't be nervous in a game like this, but at home, trying to end the series, it's bound to happen. Carolina looks good. They've got shots. They've got all sorts of things going on, except there's no goals. So I'm happy getting out of that at 0-0. Tie game just like we had at the end of the first period last game. Couple of power plays. Well, no. Panthers had a power play, which looked like ass. And then we were about to go on the power play again, and Schmidt roughs up his guy there after the initial penalty would have been called. I actually didn't mind it in a sense because we haven't been great on the power play before, and I thought maybe a little bit of open ice. But we're just a little bit tentative there. Boquist had a couple chances with Rodriguez, but those two, it's not Reinhart and Kachuk out there. God bless their hearts. So, all right. Let's move on to the second period. Yep. 1-0 Carolina after two. Carolina's carrying the game. The Panthers are just not playing. They're not playing their game. They are playing not to lose instead of playing to win. We've had multiple opportunities where instead of just shooting the puck as soon as it's getting on our stick, we're sliding and moving to try to get into the perfect spot, giving Carolina's defense time to get in position and block the shots. We're just not playing with enough urgency, and the only reason why it's only 1-0 is Bobrovsky right now. So there's nothing to lose, guys. Just play your game. It's so frustrating. We're trying to carry the puck into the zone instead of dumping it in. They're doing the typical thing the Panthers do when they play non-Panther hockey, to get too damn cute. It's very frustrating. So it's only one goal. Obviously, anything can happen in this game. We haven't had an overtime game yet in this series, so there's that. It's frustrating that they, after everything that went down in Edmonton, with Edmonton last year, that they didn't come out tonight and just absolutely bury Carolina with energy. I understand if we can't get the goals and everything, but we got 12 shots in 2 periods. This is not Panther hockey at all. All right. I'll take overtime, I guess, at this point. Well, here we go again. 3-0 Carolina. So I'm torn between how I really feel and how the people in the comments are going to tell me it's no big deal. It's just one game, etc., etc. Now, the frustrating part to me is I extrapolate this out to playing in the next round should we win this series, because now we've given this team life. But the lack of ability for this team to learn the lesson of what happened against Edmonton last year, the audacity, the stupidity, the moronitivity, which is not even a word, the idiocy of realizing that you blew game 4, 5, 6 last year because you took it too easy in game 4 and got walloped, to not come out here tonight and just absolutely play like Carolina did today. Panthers should have been the ones playing like this. At home, the trophy's in the building. You've got the lesson from last year of what happens when you don't play your best game in a game 4. And son of a bitch. Now, Carolina played their ass off. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they still only beat us by 1 goal, other than the stupid empty nets, which y'all, if you follow this channel, you know how I feel about the empty net. The power play has been ass. We should have just played the last 3 games 5-on-5 and taken our chances. That was stupid. And if you're going to have an empty net, you shouldn't have Kachuk on the ice handling the puck along the boards, because he's just not been fantastic keeping the puck away from the Canes. All night, Canes were taking possession from us. It should have never been an empty net. Completely ruining the chance we had of any late game heroics. That pissed me off. So, now I know Carolina blocked a lot of shots. Carolina played a whale of a game. They were up for elimination. They staved off elimination, no doubt. But how, on what freaking planet are these dumbasses? Are they dense? Are they dense? The fact that we didn't take what happened last year at Edmonton and get together in the locker room and be like, let's make sure that shit don't happen again. All right, we see what happened. We're going to come out, game 4, balls to the wall, and just blow them away with our energy. And they lack it that the whole game. The whole game. They're so worried about Carolina blocking shots that now they're in our head, and we got a shot, we're going to slide over this way, or slide over, doing the electric slide all over the damn ice, giving Carolina more time to just lay down and block shots. The number of shots that we passed up to try to pass the puck, it just was awful. Awful, awful display of how to close out a series. Damn it. And I don't want to hear one person saying it's just one game, because in case you wasn't paying attention last year, go watch the last 5 minutes. Go watch the last 5 to 10 minutes of Panthers Edmonton Game 7. That's how close we were to not getting this sign, because they went out there in Game 4 and put their heads up their asses and couldn't get their heads back out of their asses till Game 7. We should have buried this team. This team was dead. This was terrible. So what did we see on the ice? Well, Maurice took a gamble that I didn't disagree with, and that blew up in his face, because he said that Reinhart, Mikkola, and Greer weren't on the ice because he felt their replacements would play a better game. Now, Belinskas was fine. The defense, Belinskas was fine. But Boquist was so bad on the top line, they had to blow up the third line and put Marchand up top. And so that experiment there, Jesus, and the same thing happened against Toronto, where he came in and played one game on the top line and looked decent, and then by the second game he looked like ass. The same thing happened tonight. Him and Rodriguez together is like freaking, you got Hall & Oates on skates out there. It's not good. Barkov got his ass handed to him pretty much all night. Bennett, Kachuk for Hagee, too, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but too timid. Bennett not as much, but Kachuk and Verhage especially, getting in the position and, they wouldn't shoot the puck. So now Carolina's in our heads with the blocking of the shots. Third line got obliterated because Marchand had to go up top. Lundell was trying to do what, they weren't terrible. They weren't terrible. Lundell had a couple of chances, again, playing tic-tac-toe with the puck and not just shooting the pucks on net. And in the fourth line, Mikkel Sturm. When we got Sturm, we looked at the stats and we said, "Ooh, wow." Because Nosek was like 51, 52 in the face-off, and Sturm was like 65 or something ridiculous. But he has been ass for the majority of the time he's been on the ice for us. And tonight, you can't tell me Samoskevich wouldn't have been better. I don't want to see Sturm on the ice. Game 5. It's either going to be Greer or Samoskevich. I will personally fly up to Carolina, which ain't that far away, and whack you upside the head, Paul. If Greer couldn't go, that's fine. But that should have been Samoskevich out there. At least somebody would have had some jump and some energy. The kid deserves to play Game 5. If Greer can't play, I better see Mackey out there. I'm going to be pissed. And then in terms of Mikla, Kulikov took a dumb penalty. It didn't really hurt us. The defense wasn't really, significantly the problem. The problem was the forwards getting outworked all night long. All night long. Bob gave up a goal. He gave up one goal to Stankoven. It wasn't the best goal you'd ever want to give up, but he saved about 10 others that easily could have gone into the net. We lost the game. I mean, I know it's 3-0, but don't even get me started again on the empty net. Pisses me off. Damn it! What I talk about, right? What I say at the beginning of the playoffs, each game that you can shorten these series, when you're talking to now, we're going to have to go out there, Game 5, at Carolina. They're all juiced. Are we going to have Reinhart back out there? Is Mikla going to be, now these guys are going to have to play a game a little bit dinged instead of getting some rest. Damn it. And past the part of saying, we should win this series, right? But you can't. We did this Game 6 against Toronto, too. We did a Game 6 at home. Why do we suck at home now? We're trying to close out games. I guess we used all of our closing out games magic at home, a Game 7 against Stanley Cup in the finals, and that's it. God almighty. So now Carolina's going to be buzzing, so we got to risk more possible injuries. I know some of you are going to be happy, good, and say we won't have such a long layoff if Edmonton wins the next game. And I understand that part, but I don't like what we did tonight when you extrapolate it out until the possible series against Edmonton. You follow what I'm saying? We did it last year against Edmonton, then we did it again against Toronto, and we did it again tonight. And what has to happen to these morons to get it through their thick skulls that when you have a team on the ropes, you smack them around? What has to happen? They got to lose a series to figure that out? Damn. How do you go out there tonight with that lackadaisical? I mean, you shouldn't be nervous. Shouldn't be holding your sticks tight. You're fucking champs. What's wrong with you kids? Damn it. Sometimes I wonder, and I've said this on occasion, sometimes I wonder if Maurice is just a little bit too much with the players, coach the team. Just a little bit too much. Because there's clearly some lessons here that aren't getting learned. This shouldn't have happened again after Edmonton and Toronto. Why do we have a Game 7 in Toronto, right? Because Game 6, they went out there and farted all over the ice. Now, Carolina played a hell of a game, but we knew that was coming. We didn't match them, and we still only lost 1-0. Imagine if we would have gone out there and played our normal game and not acting like freaking chicken shit out there every time we had the puck on our stick and in the offensive zone. So, I got to go back to Carolina, Game 5. They're going to be all juiced up. We got to listen to a whole other game of the announcers just sucking their balls all night long. Freaking hell. Carolina, 30 seconds into the game, Anderson makes a save, and they're just like, the dude's got the freaking Conn Smythe already. It's just unbelievable. So that's part of the frustration. I want to shut them up already. My God. So, did we see anything else out on the ice worth noticing? Let's see. Barkov got his ass. I don't know what the hell that was out there tonight. I mean, everybody has a bad game, fine, but good Lord. Okay? Just didn't, and nobody had any fight back. Nobody, the Panthers did not push back at all. They just didn't. Anybody? Marchand did what he could. He had a few chances. We did have a few chances get ruined by guys being on their off side. Certainly, Kulikov is not Mikula. We definitely missed Mikula tonight. Now, I understand what Maurice was doing. He thought we could eke out a win without those guys and get them extra rest. Well, guess what? You should have put Mackey in. Sturm has been dog shit, okay? Useless. Like he wasn't even moving his legs tonight. Is he hurt? He's fresh. He should have been out there busting his balls, happy to be on the ice. That should have been Samoskevich. That part pisses me off in hindsight. Because Mackey earned the right to be able to be out there in a game like that on the fourth line when Greer's out. You're telling me you don't think Samoskevich could have done better than Sturm did out there? So that change better be made if Greer can't go. Damn it. All right. So, tell us how you really feel, Jaws. Pisses me off. They didn't learn the lesson. That bothers me, man. Because that's not good. That's not good. You don't think, if we're talking about playing the Oilers, they can't lay shitty games like this out there on the ice thinking they've got one to burn. That's kind of the attitude I got off from Reese when he was saying, for those of you who don't know, when he talked about Reinhart, Mikula, and Greer being out, he said specifically they're out because he felt their replacements would play a better game tonight. I guess so, meaning the other guys were dinged a little bit. But what that really sounds to me like, well, as if it was a Game 7, they could play, but we're going to try to eke out this win and give them guys some extra rest. Now, don't necessarily disagree with that, but Sturm for Mackey, not that, who knows if it would have made a difference. But it's just a matter of the dude we traded for Sturm. We're just not staying with this team. We don't owe him anything. That should have been Mackey out there. And maybe he would have been able to move some guys around and put him back in the top six and get somebody to have some juice. So now we gave them confidence. Now they got confidence. They're going to be home and have to do this whole shit over again. And if you don't think the pressure's on us now the pressure's on us. Because guess what? We almost did against Edmonton last year. And if you don't think we're going to start feeling those footsteps or hearing them, if we get to the second period of the next game and we're losing by a goal or two, if you don't think we're going to start hearing those Edmonton footsteps behind us, you don't dick around with games like this. Damn it! For as good as this team is, every team has their weak spot. And this is definitely this team's weak spot. They just can't function without their backs against the wall. They just can't do it. They don't know how to act. And the whole game, like, okay, the first period, even the second period. But when we turned it on here in the third period, it was It wasn't what we're used to. Everybody watches this team knows that third period effort was almost like a regular season attempt at a comeback. That was not. At no point in that game do I feel like we played playoff level intensity like we need to. And Maurice is going to sit there and say, I liked our game. It's just a bounce. Yeah. Okay, Paul. All right. I have definitely said enough. I'll be live tomorrow at noon for your Meltdown viewing pleasure. I don't like losing. And I really don't like losing the same game over and over again. Of all the freaking, how do you not? How? It's like they're my kid. And it's like that's the fifth time I've taught you how to do something and you're still making the same mistake. Damn. All right. See you tomorrow at noon.